Hi, I'm Rev Myron. I'm a minister through Pathways of Light, and I've been a Course in Miracles student for 40 years. I'm going through the lessons this year and asking Jesus to clarify for me, and then I write, whatever I'm given. And that's what I'm sharing today. So let's get started. I'm looking at lesson 79. Let me recognize the problem so it can be solved. A problem cannot be solved if you do not know what it is. Even if it is really solved already, you will still have the problem because you will not recognize that it has been solved. This is the situation of the world. The problem of separation, which is really the only problem, has already been solved. Yet the solution is not recognized because the problem is not recognized. The problem, however it might present itself, is in our minds. It is a belief in separation. This belief plays out in many ways. It can look like a financial problem or a relationship problem. Maybe it seems there is a physical problem. No matter what it looks like, the problem is that we believe we separated from God. Until we recognize this as the problem, we will spend lifetime after lifetime looking for answers. Well, we already have. So let me say that we will continue this fruitless search for answers until we accept the problem. Paragraph 2, everyone in this world seems to have his own special problems, yet they are all the same and must be recognized as one if the one solution that solves them all is to be accepted. Who can see that a problem has been solved if he thinks the problem is something else? Even if he is given the answer, he cannot see its relevance. Paragraph 3, that is the position in which you find yourself now. You have the answer, but you are still uncertain about what the problem is. A long series of different problems seems to confront you, and as one is settled, the next one and the next arise. There seems to be no end to them. There is no time in which you feel completely free of problems and at peace. I remarked yesterday on a perceived problem with someone I love. I also thought that the plumbing was a problem. I have an allergy that's causing congestion that interferes with my speaking ability. On any given day, I could think of some problems, one problem or another, that seems to need solving, but I would be wrong. There is only one problem. When I let go of this manifest world, I will have no problems at all. All my problems need a world and bodies to even seem to exist. This is why I continue to forgive all beliefs and form. It is why I continue to forgive all beliefs. So, paragraph 4. The temptation to regard problems as many is a temptation to keep the problem of separation unsolved. The world seems to present you with a vast number of problems, each requiring a different answer. This perception places you in a position in which your problem solving must be inadequate and failure is inevitable. Paragraph 5, no one could solve all the problems the world appears to hold. They seem to be on so many levels, in such varying forms, with such varied content, that they confront you with an impossible situation. Dismay and depression are inevitable as you regard them. Some spring up unexpectedly, just as you think you've resolved the previous one. Others remain unresolved, under a cloud of denial, and rise to haunt you from time to time, only to be hidden again, but still unsolved. I was thinking of my son as I read this. He's overwhelmed because he seems to have so many problems right now. Some of them are completely out of his hands, really, and yet he feels he must solve them. He feels inadequate and a failure. He's dismayed and depressed. This is such a clear example of what Jesus is telling us. It is unfortunate that he cannot hear the answer to this, but perhaps this situation will motivate him to seek the only solution that will work. Paragraph 6. All this complexity is but a desperate attempt to recognize the problem. Sorry, a desperate attempt not to recognize the problem and therefore not to let it be resolved. If you could recognize that your only problem is separation, no matter what form it takes, you could accept the answer because you would see its relevance. Perceiving the underlying constancy in all the problems that seem to confront you, you would understand you have the means to solve them all. And you would use the means because you recognize the form. While he was telling me about his problems, I could hear the panic in my son's voice, and I had to make a choice. I decided on God, and so I did what it took to return to peace. From a peaceful place, I was able to remember the truth. Paragraph 7. In our longer practice periods today, we will ask what the problem is and what is the answer to it. We will not assume that we already know. We will try to free our minds of the many different kinds of problems we think we have. We will try to realize that we have only one problem, which we have failed to recognize. We will ask what it is and wait for the answer. We will be told. Then we will ask for the solution to it, and we will be told. This is exactly what I did yesterday. I sat in the emotions of the Holy Spirit and let him heal my mind. In the ensuing peace, I remembered that there is only one problem. I could follow my son deeper into the world, or I could accept the only answer. There is no world, and we are all safe. We are spirit, and none of these problems can touch us. While it is true that when we believe in the world, we suffer, when we let the world go, there is no suffering. Paragraph 8. The exercises for today will be successful to the extent to which you do not insist on defining the problem. Perhaps you will not succeed in letting all your preconceived notions go, but that's not necessary. All that is necessary is to entertain some doubt about the reality of the version of what your problems are. You are trying to recognize that you have been given the answer by recognizing the problem, so that the problem and the answer can be brought together and you can be at peace. How wonderful that we're not asked to be certain when we do these exercises. I knew that I was wrong when I was worried about my son, but that wasn't the feeling. The feeling made me think he had a real problem, and so did I. But I was just asked to bring my version of the problems into doubt. That was possible, and that's what I did. What a relief it was to do this. We wound up having a conversation. I was guided to the right words that eased his soul somewhat. I was not guided to preach or teach, just to love. The few things I said that pointed to a better way were accepted. The Holy Spirit knows how to do this, and he gave me what was needed. Paragraph 9. The shorter practice periods for today will not be set by time, but by need. You will see many problems today, each one calling for an answer. Our efforts will be directed toward recognizing that there is only one problem and one answer. In this recognition, all problems are resolved. In this recognition, there's peace. Paragraph 10. Be not deceived by the form of problems today. Whenever any difficulty seems to arise, tell yourself quickly, let me recognize this problem so it can be solved. Then try to suspend all judgment about what the problem is. If possible, close your eyes for a moment and ask what it is. You will be heard and you will be answered. When Jesus said that there would be many problems for me to solve today, it was like he was looking into my future. But I suppose this is always true for all of us. The world is one big problem. However, with this lesson in mind, I was alert to the problems and saw them differently. Instead of assuming I could take care of the little ones on my own, I remembered there's only one solution. This is great practice, and I'm going to do it again today. Thank you for sharing this lesson with me, and thanks for watching my video. If you found it helpful, please like it, and if you haven't yet, subscribe. I'll be back tomorrow with another lesson.